Good day, traders. This is the trade site Forex Roadmap and Economic Preview Report for the week beginning Sunday, April 14th and ending Friday, April 19th, 2013. Dollar Index daily chart on the right side of your screen. You'll notice that we completed a 9-bar setup phase on Thursday. That's a 9-bar downward setup phase. So even though that was a pretty narrow-ranged move for 9 bars, we still could see a little support here and a bounce. There's no real breakout points. I would say overall the thing I'd be looking at, there's a lot of support back here at this last breakout point, just over 81 on the dollar index. There's going to be critical support if we keep heading lower at that static trend line, which is this red line right here above 80. If we head up, the next resistance is this static trend line up at 83.50, which is the high of that last 9-bar move. But overall, we're kind of in the doldrum area on the dollar index. You can see that the month of March in general was pretty dull, not much going on there. Compared to what we saw, previously, and in the beginning of April here as well. So the first quarter was the first 2 months of the year, anyways, were a little more jagged than the last month and a half. Ranges have been okay, not horrible. Let's pull up some of the intraday action. Some of the daily chart action on some of the pairs just to see where we're at. So, for example, here's the pound dollar. You can see this one's basically also 7 bars up after today. On Friday's close, so it could get another 9-bar setup here, and again we're trapped between two static trend lines, kind of in no man's land. There's a lot of resistance right at this point of the chart, so if we get that 9th bar on Sunday, Monday, and then Monday, Tuesday, I would not be surprised if we stalled out up here for now on the pound dollar. Let's take a look at the euro. And here you can see we're that's 8, so this will be, you'll hear the sound when I hit the projection mode, which allows us to project today's closing price. There it is, 9 bars up on the daily chart of the euro. So that's also sort of a potential stall out point. Could bring us back to this static trend line, which would be the lows on the euro dollar from this month. So be interesting to see how this all plays out. Overall, we're in kind of a no man's land area. If I flip to the intraday charts on some of these pairs, here's the euro, for example. With the Comer. Here's the euro, for example, in the 5-minute bars from the last session, and you can see we basically traded 100 pips of range on the euro, and that was kind of consistent with what we saw all week. And in fact, if I take a look at the average daily ranges on most of the pairs right now, and I compare them to what they were about a month ago, they're not much different. They're about the same. Euro dollar is 98 pips, pound dollar is 98 pips, and if I jump back exactly a month, you get pretty much 96 pips and 95. So we haven't changed a lot, but at least we're at 100 pips. We were seeing about 70 or so at the back end of last year, so this is an improvement from that perspective. So let's focus now on the economic data coming out this week. And as usual, we're going to use Forex Factory's calendar. So here we are starting on Sunday, April 14th. We got the Right Move HPI index out of the UK. Home loans out of Australia, a bunch of data dumped out of China. We've got GDP, fixed asset investment, industrial production, the NBS press conference, and retail sales. That heads into Monday. Japan, revised industrial production, trade balance out of Europe. U.S. has Empire State Manufacturing Index, TIC, long-term purchases, housing market index. Monday night, monetary policy meeting minutes out of Australia, new motor vehicle sales, foreign direct investment out of China. That leads us to Tuesday, Switzerland's PPI. UK dumps the CPI, the PPI, the RPI, the HPI all at once. The Italian trade balance right before that. The German ZOO economic sentiment, 5 a.m. Eastern time, along with the European CPI. Speech out of one of the FOMC members at 8 a.m. on Tuesday. Manufacturing sales out of Canada, building permits, and the CPI. This is one of our big 3 every month out of the U.S. at 8:30 a.m. Eastern time before the stock market opens on Tuesday, so we'll be half size ahead of that number, along with housing starts. You've got capacity utilization and industrial production that morning as well. A number of Fed members speaking, Treasury Secretary speaking, CPI out of New Zealand Tuesday night, Michigan leading index out of Australia, or the MI leading index out of Australia. Michigan, good. Consumer confidence at 1 a.m. Eastern time out of Japan, going into Wednesday. Unemployment rate out of the UK, rate announcement out of Canada. U.S. has crude oil inventories. That's about it. Got a Bank of Canada press conference following that rate announcement. Beige book out of the U.S., trade balance out of Japan that night. Takes us to Thursday, retail sales out of the UK, Spanish 10-year bond auction, 30-year bond auction out of the UK. The US side, we've got our usual unemployment claims. It's a weekly number. Philly Fed Manufacturing Index, CB Leading Index, Natty Gas. We've got Japan's all industries activity going into Friday. German PPI current account out of all of Europe. Canada joins in with their CPI and wholesale sales. We've got the G20 meetings running late in the week. And that's about it. That is not a lot this week. The CPI in the U.S. is probably the big data point we will be watching. And other than that, we hope to see you in the lab. Obviously, sign up for a trial of our services, and you will get weekly newsletters that will send this information out to you so that you don't have to come looking for it. We'll provide it to you. Have a good trading week.